Yeah, and especially in the rotation side of things too. That's gonna be fascinating because it looks like Toledo and you're gonna be stocked. Before we move on, though, I did find it interesting that people assume that just Mize will be back. He'll be in the starting rotation. That might be true, but he's coming off. He hasn't, in terms of let's look at this from a perspective of innings, right? Would you both agree that the Tigers are cautious with innings with their pitchers? Safe to say.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
All right. Go ahead.
there's a level of caution there, and I also think that there's kind of a strong belief in the third time to the order penalty or whatever. I think that Hinch is very much aware of his starters when they get to that third time to the order. He's quick with the hook.
So, as far as most innings that Mize has thrown in one season was 150. That was 2 years ago. Okay, so last year you're looking at a rotation that the most innings thrown outside a guy by the name of Eduardo Rodriguez was two different guys in Joey Wentz and Michael Lorenz threw 105 innings last year. I understand. I know injuries aside, but this I think will become a new norm. You're going to see 7 to 8 different guys starting. So the idea of a Haas going out there, it's strange to think that the most innings we might see in one pitcher from a Tigers pitcher this year might be 140, 150 innings tops.
I think I'm trying to look. Reese Olson between AAA and the majors had 140. And I think Gibson Long was probably fairly close to that. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. 150 innings is probably the most we'll see from any one pitcher.
And Scooble's career high is what? $149, right?
Was that 2 years ago as well?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago as well. Yeah. So I just don't. I want fans to be cautious. Wow, that's not a word. Cautious when it comes to assuming the guy's just going to go rip it out there. So that's again, and then after that, Scooble pitched 117 innings in 2022 before his injury. Yeah. So it's, yeah, I mean, and there's some people like YouTube user out there who's saying that he's not convinced if Mize is a lock to pitch well and miss bats even when healthy. I'm with you. I hate to say that as much as I'm not rooting against him or anything, but when his split finger's good, it's good. I mean, but it's just I haven't seen enough to merit him being like this ace guy so far.
Well, I'm not sure if you saw there was a small I don't even know what you would call it on Twitter a couple days ago where I think Tigers Torque Mail had discovered Mize had some video on his Instagram of him throwing a bullpen or whatever. And it was just, one pitch and he was hitting 92.8 or whatever with like 4'8" extension. And so people were like, what's going on here? And then I was like, it looks like he's throwing from flat ground. And then we determined that it probably wasn't flat ground. It was probably just a terrible mound. But people were like, boy, if he's throwing that hard, but it's February 6th or whatever when we saw it. Like I'll be worried if he's throwing that hard on April 6th. I think he's probably just fine right now.
And I saw that back and forth. And my question is, my statement would be, let's hope that was a flat mound, because if he's pitching on a quote unquote bad mound, what the hell is he doing on a bad mound?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know what? I mean, honestly,
what in the fuck are we doing here? Hell, I don't know.
No, it's sorry, that's one of my I'm putting some new drops in this year, and that was what I heard and I really liked. Anyway, you're right. What are we doing here? What the hell are we doing here with that then? I mean, but then again, remember everybody freaked out a few years ago when Michael Fulmer was coming back and his velocity was like 91, 92 in spring training. Like, it's over. And it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, and it took him a while to finally let loose, and then it was like, all right, well, he did let loose, and then it was like, all right, well, this is more of a reliever look anyway. But yeah. I mean, I think Deadly Ninja Bees asked if we had ever seen a healthy Mize, and that's a good question. I mean, there were injury questions about him coming out of high school. There were injury questions at college. There were injury questions when they drafted him, and what we heard about his elbow, right, was that it wasn't a torn ligament. It was just basically like a limp rubber band that had been stretched too far.
Stretched ligament. Yeah. The year before his big final year at Auburn, right? He was great until the end, and he kind of sucked. He wasn't great the last few starts of his last year at Auburn, but he had done enough where he was going to be 1-1. The year before, he'd been shut down, and at the time I was worried about that. I was that didn't sound good to me. I wanted Jared Kelenic. Well, that hasn't worked out too good either. So, what are you going to do? But you would like to think that with your former 1-1 coming back from a Tommy John surgery, which we know has a decent outcome for a lot of people, that we'd be pretty excited. But instead, everybody's kind of leery and weary about it. So, he can answer a lot of questions, in March. We'll see what it looks like, but it's really up in the air right now.
And we remember Chris when he was on Erie and he missed some time, and that all got really mysterious when he shut down the rest of the season down in Erie. And that was under that was not, they were blaming the facilities and all that stuff on there. But again, it's just, this is a guy who threw the most innings he threw in college, by the way, if you're curious, 114. And that was the year, that was that monster year where he went 10-6, struck out 156 and 114 innings pitched.
So no hitter.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it'll be interesting to see. I just as far as Mize will have thrombolytitis.
I don't know what that is, but the thrombolytitis that I would consider is more of an attitude thing, and Mize does not have it.
No,
he seems like a good guy, 100%. Yeah. But, I'll go back to what we talked about when he was pitching for the Tigers, and his fastball has just never impressed me as a pitch that he can get a lot of outs with, because I always thought, just watching on TV, batters had to feel comfortable against him. He just didn't look like he's the kind of guy who's going to scare anybody. His fastball just looks soft to me and puffy. That's the only word I put on it.
Puffy.
Yeah,
nice. I like that.
Like, it's just kind of, it's got decent velocity, but it's just kind of sitting there asking to be hit.
A kind of floater, in other words.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. It was fastball was never his best pitch. It was more like the knuckle curve or the slider and the splitter, right? But he's had about 2 years to kind of remake things, right? And we saw that Jackson Jobe was able to change the shape of his fastball last year, and I think Skubal has done that too. I think that the Tigers organization, as it stands now, is pretty well suited to help guys. You might not be able to get Mize an elite fastball with carry, but they'll find something unique about that fastball and accentuate it to make it work, I think. But we'll see, right? Like, I don't know. Watching him pitch will be one of the most, I think, intriguing things to look for this spring training, honestly. It's been so long.
Yeah, this is, an organization, too, that started to maximize the change up. We saw that in the farm system last year. So maybe there's something else they could go with his fastball. So